Okay, vid number 4. Just had conversation with Jeremy and Kasha in the USA there, and Jeremy forwarded 2 YouTubes about reincarnation, the case of Paul Gauguin, of course, who was a famous French painter, and another fellow who was a general in the Civil War. I've favorited them on the site. Go in and look at those, because this is perfect for those who are having trouble accepting reincarnation, particularly Christians who have been led to believe that we live this life once and then the judgment, because the information was actually removed by Lucifer from the New Testament, which is their construct through the Freemasons that put it all together. So watch those, these are fascinating, and it's just more of the scientific evidence, if you like, that indeed we do reincarnate. And I've emphasized that once you get to this site, you run into the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And if Brian says that it is so, as the creator, then it is so. If he says no, no truth to that, I didn't. For example, I didn't create aliens, he says. No, we didn't. There was no conversation at any point between Amma and Abba where they had a conversation about creating aliens after they created man and woman in our image. It is all a complete deception. So that brings me to recognizing the real meal deal. I was telling Trish earlier over tea and toast for breakfast that when working within the banking industry, I had heard that tellers who handle cash all of the time, in order to recognize a counterfeit, their training was not even being given the opportunity to look at counterfeit notes. They were given so much instruction on the real meal deal, if you like, notes, that they knew it so well, you know, its texture, what it looked like, the colors, what was on it. They knew it so well that when the counterfeit came along, it was so obvious to them, they just went, yeah, you know, counterfeit. Well, that's the way it is with Brian, who is the Lord Jesus. Go through the videos and you recognize his manner, his teaching, how perfectly sane he is and logical. No airy-fairy bullshit. He calls it that all the time. All the other stuff, praying to this God out here, glory, hallelujah, and worshipping Lucifer with the mask of Jesus hung on him by the Lucifer churches that have purposed to deceive all of mankind. It's very grounding. The peace of your mind is restored through logic, reason, and you get to know him so well that everything else out there, you begin to see just how I liken it to kindergarten. The deception is so obvious. Once you begin reading the newspaper headlines and hearing what it is they're saying throughout the mass media, it seriously is being in like kindergarten, and they are spoon-feeding you, you know, child food, and that's really how simple it is. So getting to know Brian as the real meal deal, he is, before I found him, I called him the real meal deal. You know, he is the real gold. You know, everybody's searching for gold and talking about gold on the planet and its value and gold mines, etc. Well, I was attached to 2 gold mines. They were actually platinum, and they were put in my under my care to sell them. But I knew it was prophetic of actually looking for the real gold on the planet, and that is him. And of course, his name, Brian Leonard Marshall, adds up to 197, which happens to be the atomic weight of gold. So, yeah, he is the real meal deal. He's the real gold. Gold is valueless unless somebody's worth, you know, somebody's willing to pay the price. And if it's our time, our energy, that's where the real value is. And in the kingdom, gold won't mean a hill of beans. We'll be paving the streets with it. That brings me to some questions that some of you have had too. So I just wanted to cover that about recognizing what is counterfeit. It's because you know the real meal deal, the real gold so well. You've studied him so often once you go through the archives. I hear Chris from Utah, APT 240. You're doing an awesome job on putting together some of the latest videos for the new ones coming in to make it easier for them. Our archive is growing daily, of course, and you're making it easier with the latest vids, with the foundational teaching. It's the foundational teaching as you absorb that and just marvel at, it's all in the numbers. Trish had a visit to a clairvoyant some years ago, and this clairvoyant told her, I don't know what this means, but I'm just getting it's the numbers. The numbers in the future will be important. It's all about the numbers. Yeah. Well, what's Brian being saying? Trish is here beside me now. She's keeping time. She's the timekeeper. She wants to keep a low profile. The hair isn't quite behaving the way she wants it to today. Oh, you notice I've got some lippy on today. Oh, all in fun. Yes, so, real meal deal. Watch those videos on the reincarnation for any of you who are coming against skeptics about reincarnation. Favourite them to your own sites, refer them. Send them to RJ at Morning Liberty. He was struggling with the reincarnation bit. And as I said, I've kind of got the big stick out after AJ a couple of times as I listened to the interview last night and all the rest of it. It really is being about bold, not worrying about people being offended or angry. That's all good. Stir them up. At least they're starting to wake up out of their sleep. Hello? And, yeah, a lot of the opinions that we've formed, opinions, you know, I've heard this, RJ, humble opinion doesn't mean a hill of beans. When you run into the real meal deal, the real gold, the Creator himself, Yahweh, telling you the way it is, you should be willing, as one of the meek who does inherit the earth, to lay down the humble opinion. Means nothing. This is the way it was, and that's what I've been getting after you about, RJ. Love you. And everybody else who is coming to the site with their humble opinion, lay it all down. You've heard me say over and over, you have to be willing, that spirit of humility, willing to lay down everything you've picked up and understand as the truth. No, if Brian says it's not so, then it's not so. He should know. We were there from the beginning. Okay, now going to the, oh, how long have I got? Oh, a little bit over 2 minutes. Going into the site to read some comments. I wanted to say hello because I didn't get to in the other video. Dennis M100 from the UK. I wanted to respond to you in an earlier video, but you've written in again. And you're talking to Yahweh. He's not with me now, and he can't do this, what I'm doing, because of the slowness of his computers. We are looking forward to being together in front of the webcam that was sent by angels from the East in the USA to us, so that we can upload straight to the YouTube. And you said, could Yahweh please do a video explaining to people who think that ETs are going to come down in ships and save them or help them to ascend through stargates, etc., that this simply won't happen. It simply won't happen. People who are coming in still believing about ETs, there are no aliens out there, there is nothing out there. I know that offends a lot of people, but hey, you know, there's nothing out there. God created the earth first. His ultimate creation is mankind. Mankind is the glory of Yahweh and Asherah. You know, hello, the two of us, you are our glory. And when you fill the entire earth and have woken up to who you are, then the glory of the Lord fills the earth. That's the way it is. And no ETs. This is all a fabrication, a distraction by the Luciferians, the Illuminati, to get us all disunited and divided into our different factions, arguing with each other when it is all bullshit. There's nothing out there. Nobody's going to come and rescue you. Your rescuer is already here in hell with you. It is Yahweh, Jesus Christ, reincarnated for the time of the end. We have 900, and here in Australia, 911 days to go to the time of the end, when we cross over the center line of the Milky Way galaxy into the heavenly realm. And that's awesome. Next vid coming up. Bye. Okay, so that's